Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And in just a moment, I'm going to read two meditations from today, two meditations that I haven't read yet. I read some of my other books. It has been just such a marvelous day, and you know, I think often when we kind of process our days, we don't process them as the day is happening, and we don't just like stop. Well, I don't. I guess I should just speak for myself and stop and say like, I'm really enjoying the day. Like today is so fun. I woke up and it is so warm in Indianapolis. It's like 70 degrees and it's gray outside. It's kind of clearing up now actually, but it's gray outside, and the neighbors were outside. My neighbor and her new roommate were outside, and he was playing guitar, and she and I were talking, and she and I filmed a review video for my review channel, and it's just been fun. We've been like hanging out and talking. The dogs have been running in and out. It has just been such a great day. We were talking about books and our love of Toni Morrison. She was reading Beloved by Toni Morrison, and so we were just talking about that, and it has just been one of those like fantastic days, you know, and her roommate was outside and he was playing guitar and he was playing some of my favorites from back in the day, and it's just been a really, really good day. And so I want to stop for a moment, and like right now she's playing trumpet because she plays, I think that's so cool that she plays trumpet, but she's in there and she's practicing trumpet. So if she starts playing again, I may stop so you guys can hear her for a second, because it's just kind of fun to be able to hear that. You know, it's almost kind of like living in like an apartment in downtown New York City. I don't know if some of you do, but like that's what I imagine it to be like, you know? So it's just, can you hear? She's doing scales. So anyway, I wanted to read two meditations today that I haven't read, and they're the ones that I typically say for this channel. The Linda Picone book, The Daily Book of Positive Quotations, as well as The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. If you want to find out more about these books, I have them on my Amazon store listed below, but you don't have to buy them from there. It's just a point of reference. You can find these meditation books. I got mine at Half Price Books. You can find them at Barnes & Noble. You can find them online at Thrift Books for probably cheaper. So anyway, that's just a point of reference. So we're going to start today, I think, with the smaller one, The Daily Book of Positive Quotations. And it is March 13th. So we're going to read this one. It's called Following Our Feelings. I pay no attention whatever to anybody's praise or blame. I simply follow my own feelings. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. We have good instincts about many things. Time and experience have taught us lessons about what we like and don't like, what works and doesn't work, what is true and not true. We need to trust our intuition. Yes, there will be times when we make mistakes despite our best instincts. But these mistakes add to our experience, hone our instincts, and help us make even better choices the next time. Before I listen to what everyone else thinks I should do, I'll take some time to figure out how I feel about the situation. Maybe I will need the help of others, but I don't need to follow what others think. It's really interesting, you know, it's like, can you hear the trumpet? I love that so much. You know, it's interesting because when I was younger, I really wouldn't take anybody's advice on anything. And as I got older and things that my father had suggested to me started to come true, like if I had taken his advice, you know, what I started to realize is that when people give you suggestions or they tell you what maybe you should do, it's not because they don't like you, it's because they really do like you and they really want to see the best for you. And so they give you suggestions. But just because they give you a suggestion doesn't always mean that that's right for you. Like, I think internally we know what is best for us. I think the thing is that I love about this meditation, it says, before I listen to what everyone else thinks I should do, I'll take some time to figure out how I feel about the situation. I think the important part of that passage is, I'll take some time to figure out how I feel about the situation. And you know, whether it's, you know, an argument you get into with somebody or a breakup, like I always, you know, give all these examples, but you guys know what I'm talking about. No matter what it is, you do not have to react right away, okay? We have the option to respond. And I think that one of the most valuable things I have learned, you know, I mean, over the years, but just specifically in the last couple months, is that I need to really kind of just sit still and think about things, process it with my sponsor, talk to my husband, talk to my best friend, you know? If you want to know how I'm really doing, ask my husband. If you want to know how I'm really doing, ask my best friend or my sponsor. They're the ones that truly know who I am, you know? I know myself best of all, but sometimes the three people around me that care the most about me are the ones that I really, really need to listen to. I have other friends of mine, close friends of mine. Now, you know who you are. She watches this video every day. She's given me some of the best suggestions and best advice of my entire life. Doesn't mean that I always take it, you know, and just because somebody gives you advice or suggestions doesn't mean that you have to take it. But I think we have to be open to what people are saying to us, and taking their suggestions and saying, no, I really, and one of the things is that when people say, like, I can give you a suggestion, but I know you won't take it. Like, okay, just give me the suggestion and let me think about it, because maybe I want to take a little bit of what somebody said to me and I want to kind of mix it in with what somebody else said to me and then, spin it in my own way as well, because I think internally, we're the ones that have to live with what we do in the end anyway. But I think this whole idea that is so paramount to me of responding rather than reacting is so, so, so important, of really thinking through what I'm going to do or say. There are many, many situations in my life, trust me, that I wish that I would have just thought through, before I put it out there in the world. And there's a recovery saying, and I've known this for many, many years, of restraint and pen and tongue. Like restrain before you say something or write something or whatever. It's like, it's like thinking about writing an email to somebody that, you really want to pour your feelings out. There's kind of this old adage to sit on it for 24 hours before hitting the send, just leaving it as a draft, because maybe the next day you'll wake up. It reminds me of being in high school, and laying out this really cool outfit and being so excited about this outfit, and then like you lay it out and you're like, I'm going to look so cool tomorrow, and everybody, and then you get up the next morning and you're like, fear kicks in and you're like, I'm not going to wear that, or you think it through, I think we really probably should wear some of those cool outfits and, step outside of our comfort zone. And maybe that's what we should do in talking to people as well. But I think in sitting there and thinking things through, it will become clearer to us what we really want to do. And maybe, we'll think to ourselves, what they said was true. The suggestion they gave me was great. I'm going to follow that. Or, no, I'm going to go against that. And I'm going to follow what my instinct is and my intuition. I think that the real truth is being open to what other people say to us, because really it's a form of flattery. When people give us suggestions or advice, that's flattery. What they're saying is, I really care enough about you that I want to give you some suggestions that I think will help you. But it doesn't mean that they know what's best for our lives always, That was a great meditation. I liked that one. Okay. The next one is from The Language of Letting Go, which is like probably my favorite meditation book. And March 13th is Clarity and Direction. In spite of our best efforts to work our programs and lean on God's guidance, we sometimes don't understand what's going on in our life. We trust, wait, pray, listen to people, listen to ourselves, and the answer still does not come. During those times, we need to understand that we are right where we need to be, even though that place may feel awkward or uncomfortable. Our life does have purpose and direction. We are being changed, healed, and transformed at levels deeper than we can imagine. Good things beyond our capacity to imagine are being prepared and brought to us. We are being led and guided. We can become peaceful. We do not have to act in haste or urgency just to relieve our discomfort, just to get an answer. We can wait until our mind is peaceful. We can wait for clear direction. Clarity will come. The answer will come, and it will be good for us and those around us. Today, God, help me know I am being guided into what's good about life, especially when I feel confused and without direction. Help me trust enough to wait until my mind and vision are clear and consistent. Help me know that clarity will come. A really, really good meditation for me. And it's a very spiritual meditation, but I'm going to take it in two ways. I'm going to kind of discuss it as a spiritual meditation and then discuss it for people that don't have any spiritual beliefs, because I think you can take it both ways. From a spiritual direction, I sometimes get frustrated with my higher power, Things don't happen on my time, they happen on my higher power's time, and that's been something that I have had to learn, or, wanting people to see the truth when they don't, or wanting a situation to turn out the way that I want it to and it doesn't, or, it's kind of like wishing for the lottery, and being like, if I only won the lottery, but let's just be for real, who does that happen to, And, I mean, a few people, but not many, and like I always say, somebody's got to win the lottery, right? But, I think about that sometimes, and I think, if I truly, truly believe that I'm on this journey in life, and I was talking about this in my vlog last night, that if I truly believe that I'm on this journey, and Tanya and I were just talking about this, and I truly believe that the journey is about learning experiences and about learning from my mistakes, then that lesson is not something that's necessarily going to happen overnight. That might be a lesson that is going to take place over 6 months or a year and a half, and sometimes when things happen, I get disappointed, or, if something doesn't, I'm expecting to happen a certain way and it doesn't, because my expectations are always high. That's something I'm working on, and it doesn't turn out that way. I'm kind of like, wow. But today, the way that I try to look at that is, I think to myself, okay, my higher power has something more in plan for me. It's really like, so I've told this story on here before, but I love this story about surrender. And, Oprah Winfrey really wanted the part of Miss Sophia in The Color Purple. It was one of her favorite books of life. She would give people copies of it everywhere. She's told this. There's like an aha video. You can find it on YouTube. And so she was like hoping and hoping she would get this, right? And so she called her agent and she was like, you know, have you heard anything about the part? You know, I haven't heard anything from you. And her agent said to Oprah, you know, Oprah, I know you really want this part, but there are some like real actresses. This is way before she had done anything. There are some real actresses, you know, that are trying out for this part. So I don't know what's going to happen. So Oprah, a little discouraged, she went to a camp to lose weight. And while she was there, she was walking on a track one day, and she, you know, was talking to her higher power in her head, who she calls God, and she said, you know, God, obviously, this is not what you have planned for me. Like, I don't know what you have planned for me, but whatever it is, I'm there for it, okay? Like, obviously, I'm not supposed to be in this movie. And then she started singing the gospel, I Surrender Thee, which if you ever want to hear a great version of it, oh, who is it by? Shoot, I have it on the tip of my tongue. Oh, darn it. I always play this for Tanya on YouTube because it's like one of my favorite songs. I surrender all. I surrender all. The Winans sisters. CeCe Winans. She has an amazing, this is where I don't edit, right? You know. CeCe Winans has an amazing version of I Surrender on YouTube. Go check it out. It's fantastic. But anyway, she started singing that song while she was walking around the track. And the instant that she let go of it, okay? Her assistant ran outside and said, Steven Spielberg's on the phone for you. And Steven Spielberg said to her on the phone, I hear that you're at a fat camp. If you lose 1 pound, the part isn't yours. So she left, and on the way home, she said she stopped at Dairy Queen and got a Blizzard. You know, it's such a fantastic story because I think that it's about letting go of our expectations and letting go of how we want things to turn out in the world. Often the world doesn't work the way that we want it to, does it? You know, and that could have been, you know, she didn't get the part in the movie, but she learned about surrender. It doesn't have to always be like that, you know, and it doesn't have to always be the way that it doesn't have to be this magical story where it turns out the way that we want it to, you know? I think when you read through this meditation, to take it in a non-spiritual direction, during those times we need to understand that we are right where we need to be, even though that place may feel awkward and uncomfortable. Our life does have purpose and direction. We are being healed and transformed at levels deeper than we can imagine. We can become peaceful. We do not have to act in haste or urgency just to relieve our discomfort, just to get an answer. And that again is where we talk about the difference between reaction and responding, or really thinking about things before we put something out there in the world. And I think it's really, really valuable. I do, you know? And I think from a non-spiritual point of view, no matter what you're going through, if you have no spiritual beliefs whatsoever, no matter what you're going through in life, to really kind of sit back and say, okay, I'm going to kind of let this play out. I'm going to kind of let it, you know, see where it goes. And, I remember back in the day, there was like, I told this story in a vlog, but so the place that I worked, the treatment program that I worked, we had like all these different counselors that had evening groups, right? And we were all arguing over this one group room, and it became like this issue. And I remember the clinical director at the time, I was talking to her and I was like, but you haven't done anything about this yet, blah, 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 whatever. Something to that effect. I don't remember the exact story, but anyway. And she was like, what makes you think I haven't done anything about this yet? And I said, well, I mean, nobody's talking about it, and you haven't fixed it yet, and whatever. And she said, you know, Peter, she said, I don't like rush right in and make a decision. She said, you know, I've kind of like, I started noticing that she had was around in the evenings. She said, you know, I kind of sit back and I watch the situation, I watch how it unfolds, I watch the players, and then I make a decision, right? And I think sometimes we need to do that more in our own lives, like whether it's family or friends or a relationship, we do not have to make decisions in haste. I know, for me, the decisions that I've made in haste are typically the ones that I look back on in my life and wish I had done differently. They're the ones I look back on and I'm not proud of. They're the ones I look back on and go, wow, if I could have done that, They're the ones I look back on and I say, I wish I had acted differently. I wish I had, you know, behaved differently. I wish I hadn't made that decision, you know? Because once you do, you can't change it back. But if you sit on it and you really think about it for a while and you think about what's in my best interest or what's in the best interest of those around me or what outcome do I want down the road and what's going to get me that. You know, I think if I thought more that way, which is one of the things I'm working on, to really think through things and not react, but to respond, I think that things would probably turn out a little bit better than, you know, they have sometimes in the past for me. But like I say, life is a learning experience, you know. I love both of these meditations. The thing about these meditation books is that you're not going to every day read them and have some like grand awakening where you're like, oh my God, I see it now. This is what it is, right? It's not that at all. What it is that they're reminders of things that typically we already know, you know, and maybe just said in different ways. And that's what I love about it, you know. And when you go through here and you read a meditation, and you know, like my mom, she read a lot of these, but she wouldn't typically read the day. She would just like go like this and just pick one out, you know, Achieving Harmony. And then that was the one she felt like was for that day. And I love that people do that. A lot of my friends do that as well. And I've done that on here. I think I've done a video where I did that before. But you know, they're for me reminders of things that I need to continue to learn, ways that I need to continue to act. I'm never going to reach perfection. And in fact, it was funny because I had a video that I was going to do today, and it's sitting over there, so I'll do it tomorrow. But it's all, I had to get props for it. So let me just tell you that. Props for, it's a story time video. But I have this stuff sitting out over there, and one of it references like reaching perfection. And it was funny when I read it, and I thought, you know what, like you don't ever reach perfection, and we're never going to. And so when you realize I'm never going to reach perfection, the other part of that is, then what you realize is I'm imperfect. And when you realize you're imperfect, then you allow yourself to make mistakes. And if you allow yourself to make mistakes, you don't stay stuck in the mistake. You learn from the mistakes, okay? You ask yourself, what do I need to do to be a better person? What do I need to do to learn through this so I don't do it the next time? You know, who can I ask for advice? Who can I ask for suggestions? Like the first, you know, meditation referenced. And that's what it's really all about. You know, it's not about being perfect. It's about realizing that we're imperfect and that it's okay. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. But that's not an excuse to continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And for me, the meditation books are reminders of what I'm working on to be the best person, best version of myself that I can be on a daily basis. I hope that helped you guys. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.